Okay, so yeah, I haven't been making. Well, the last video I made, it was like in a couple of days, um, but I haven't been able to make um any videos on this channel like back to back to back. For one, I have a life. I work. Not to say that other people don't have a life, because you make time for what you want, but I have a lot of other things that I have to take care of that serves more importance at this moment in my life than making constantly making videos all the time. I do appreciate the people that do listen and the people that do view and the people that do share. Um, so that is why I am making this video right here. So I go, um, after I got finished making that video, I got a call from my superior, and it was just basically talking about the video that I listed, and I was like, I didn't even know that my superior was one of my subscribers. Turns out she really wasn't. She's just the person that views. I didn't even know she knew I had a channel. But she came and she talked to me about it, and which I had permission to do so from the client, and I didn't leave her name or anything like that, so everything was cleared. I really just think there was a lot of, like, not only her, like, you know how companies go and they look and they spy, but I believe that, you know how some people, they see that people are taking a grass to you and they really just don't fancy you, and lately at work, that's what I've been having. So, my nose is a little stuffed up, sorry. So, that's why I have not, had the time to do that. Also, I had to take an emergency trip. See, with man's rejection is God's protection, and God elevates, okay? Because my superior, her superior, and the person that's under her, which is my direct boss, get to go to the bigger city, to Indianapolis, and they go to the workshops for mental illness. They do it for a couple of days, and then they come back, and then they teach us. They get the pamphlets, they get the instructions, they teach us, and they also have a coach that comes back with them to help them if they need something else and give them more training information to train the rest of the batch. So something happened to the point where one of my bosses could not come, so they had to recommend someone who was willing and able to go, and who they felt was a good fit to do that and to train other people. So I was told hands down that every person, the first person that they thought of, I don't know if that was true or not, but sometimes they don't tell the truth. But I'm grateful that it happened, that it was me. So I had to go for a couple of days and do this workshop, which was great. I wish I would have had a little bit more notice, because I would have been able to do a little bit more for class. But it was a good thing. I got out and started seeing some things. So, yeah, and it gave me a lot of awareness, a lot of things that I did not know how they go about doing things and why their methods were. I found out, and other things that I just did not know. Just you learn something new every day. And I was able to talk to not only people who are in the mental health industry in just America. It was international. This was international. It was so big, and you get to network and see things. And I not only through that, but through that I got another job opportunity. I don't know if I'm gonna take it or not, but actually I got two. One I'm definitely not interested in, because it's a lot of work. And not to say that I'm not prepared for it, it's just something that the direction that it's going in and that it leads to is not going to be the end result of what I've been instructed to do. So, excuse me, I'm sorry. Do that. Every time I have something good to talk about, I got to yarn. So I'm going to pray and deal with that. So after the conference, during the conference, You know, you go to the workshops every day, and then you're in like the hotels. You can meet up for drinks and stuff. And since I don't go out and super drink like that anymore, I kind of just stayed in my room, read my Bible, worked out, and stuff like that. Not only that, I started seeing other people who were doing the same thing, just, you know, living life, relaxing, like, it wasn't always like, because most of those people were like, let's go party, let's go, you know, and, you don't want to get, like, to me, I didn't want to get caught up in that, because I've been through that before, and then you're tired, you're drained, and you're broke. Not only that, but it's like, as you get older, sometimes it's not even the same as it used to be. It's not the same fun. So, yeah, I haven't been in that area. I don't miss it. You know, I know I would probably be ready. I would probably ruin somebody else's day or night, because I'm ready to go home, because I know what this is and what it's leading up to, and I don't want to be part of it, so whatever. So, as in the morning, it's so crazy, because where we're at, you know, they're like, I did not know Indianapolis, like, party. I knew they party, but I didn't know, like, they party. They really do party. So, as people were coming in at, like, 5-something in the morning, I'm eating my breakfast with one of the other employees, one of the other people who are at the convention, and I look on TV, and I see it might be a World War III, all this other stuff, and I'm like, And people were panicking, like, oh, my God, what should we do? What should we gather supplies and all this? And I'm sitting here laughing like, are y'all serious? Like, is this for real? Like, is this for real? I know people are, what's the point, sis? What's the point? Okay, this is my point, okay? We all gonna die. Death is expected. It is a guarantee when you enter this life, okay? That's about the only thing that's guaranteed in this life, whether you like it, whether you say yes to it or no to it, okay? Death is expected. How are you going to go out? We don't know. You probably can have another way of how, have a better chances of how you go out, but eventually you're going to leave this body and you're going to leave this earth, okay? So understand that, so knowing that and understanding what people are saying about World War III, shouldn't you understand that because this is going to happen, whether we had a war or not, you're going to die? Wouldn't you want to try to live the best way possible, and not be in fear? Like, I refuse. And one of the guys, when we had this conversation, I was kind of hesitant because I know myself. I get honest. Like, if I'm having this discussion and you want to talk about things, people always want to talk about political sides, but they never talk about the spiritual side. This whole war is spiritual. It has nothing to do with the outside. The outside is a manifestation of what is going on in the spiritual. So why are you looking for the spirit, for the physical, to give you the implication that the war has started? The war has already been started. The war was spiritual. It just got too much to it manifest into the physical. And you're using, and then it's like, I don't understand how people, when I started saying this, they was like, what? And then they started laughing. But the more I started explaining, the more it started clicking into their heads. And they started like, okay. So I had to explain, because one guy is a spiritualist. Like, he says he doesn't believe in any gods or anything. Well, he believes in the creator of the universe, but he's spiritual. So, okay, based off of your principles, and let me tell you this, I believe in God, the Lord Jesus Christ, Yahweh, Yahweh. Like, I believe in God, and I believe in Christ. Like, if you are a spiritualist, right, you know that everything starts with a thought. That's why, fear, anger, all that is in your thought process. Your thought process, we are like computers. It goes that way. It feeds and it goes into your heart. After that, it produces. It's changing how the way you react, how the way you view things. The way you view things is the way that you react. So if you're seeing this on television, and I was telling him they're building off of your fear, and He even admitted that. So that's where I was like, come on now. Like, you got to be smarter than that. You got to be smarter than the average bear. Come on now. Like, first of all, understand this. Death is guaranteed. It's guaranteed. Whether you're a cute little baby, whether you're an old senior citizen, whether you're young, you're old, you're popular, you're rich, you're poor, you're going to die. You're going to die sometime. You're going to die. Okay? But as believers, you got a God that sits high and looks low, and who look, he's in control of everything. If your soul is anchored in God, why are you caring about a fleshly body that you're going to have to leave anyway? We're not guaranteed for this body. People be sitting here trying to live, they talking about they want to live 3,000 years. No, I want to do my purpose out here. Whether it's 5 days on this earth or 25,000 days on this earth, I need to do my purpose, stay anchored in God, and keep it moving. And that's how I'm going to live my best life. Otherwise, I'm just fronting. You know, a lot of these people are fronting. They trying to take the sting out of what they know. Some people have pushed God away so far to the point where they know it is, but they have to use other additives and other devices because they want to, like, they feel repentance, but they still have resentment because they didn't turn away. But like that time is out, which is not, because you're still on earth. You still have time, you know, but you missed a lot of opportunities that you don't have to get back, you know. So that's why a lot of people are turning into these things, these drugs, these additives, all that. But yeah, that's not here or there. But if you have a God and you believe in God, that what he says, like, don't worry about what happens to this body because you're going to get persecuted. Believe that. Being a Christian, being a believer, you're going to get persecuted. That's why you're supposed to be anchored in the Word. That's why you're supposed to have the preparation, have the armor of God, you know, the shoes of peace, the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, the helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit, the belt of truth, and the shield of faith. I forgot about the belt of truth. You got to tell the truth. You got to live right. You got to come in peace. No matter what's going on, you still got to come in peace. You got to have God's word. You got to have salvation. The helmet of salvation. You believe in Jesus Christ. You got all that. You've been changed. You believe. You see what I'm saying? Like, don't sit here. Everything, and it's so crazy how the world is trying to get us to believe in the thought mechanism process, believing that we can manifest everything that we believe, everything that we want and that we believe. But believers are forgetting that that's actually that's a portion of what your Father said about you. Whatsoever a man thinketh, so is he. You know, if you think, you know, and you believe in God, you know, greater is he that is in you than he is of the world, then nothing can defeat you. You know, he tells you that, you know, the things that are physical are temporal, but the things that are unseen are eternal. You know, so if he's telling you that, and these people who are new agers are telling you part of it, don't you think that you got victory in that? Like, don't you? And it was so crazy. I didn't even know that the guy, like I said, the guy that was sitting next to me, one of them was a spiritualist, the other one was a new thought, but the guy who was with me the whole time was a believer in Christ. And after we had this discussion, he was like, you know what, since I felt so fearful because of that, because of seeing that and the discussions that you had, and I didn't want to jump in it because I didn't know, which is good, but I mean, he was like, but it gave him so much in thought, and it gave him so much input on what was going on and what his purpose was. He was like, sometimes God uses people to show you and to get you back on point and to get you back on stance. I was like, absolutely, positively, and I can't take no credit. I'm giving it to God because that's the truth. I've had it in my own self, and sometimes because we're human, we're gonna have that fearful process. But understand, you got a mighty God that you serve. You know. But if you look at the media, you will see it. It's always something to put you in fear. You get calm because everything goes down. And, you know, this is election year anyway. So for the president, and not just the United States, but a lot of countries that are in these alliances with us. So it's putting fear not only on Americans, but people around the world. They're building off of fear. So some things that I do, for one, I turn off the television. people will say, oh, yeah, you're going to miss. I remember when I was in school, they'd be like, well, you're going to miss current events if you don't if you don't watch the news and everything. Well, I noticed this from the nuns. When I had to live with the nuns because I was homeless one time, they was like, you know what, God is in control. Not to say that, things aren't important and, our everyday life is not important. No, that's not the case at all. That's not even what God said. But understand this, like in this day and age, I can guarantee you the things that we were talking about 3 years ago are the same thing our news broadcasters in the public media is talking about the same 3 years. I kid you not. I kid you not. It's just different faces and different names, and it's even the same locations, y'all. It's even the same locations. I think I'm going to put up a video and show y'all, like, how the media has turned so rapidly. It's not even the same to where, like, in the 50s, yes, you needed to see it because everybody was closed. There weren't cameras. There weren't computers or things. So the things that you were seeing in your everyday neighborhoods, you probably would never see on TV. So they can fabricate stories, things that you never saw. People, the journalists, were able to go and see and go and do. Now we have technology where technology is watching us. Our freaking TVs watch us, literally. Like, my television, it's got to go. It's leaving. But anyhow, like, we got cell phones, people are videoing. We got people who are not even journalists who are better than some of the journalists that are on national news, y'all. And they never getting out, like, whether they speaking the truth or not, even if they like comedians, we got people who are better at doing these things, at recording and showing the world, and our world is at our fingertips. We're able to be so accessible, so that's the thing. You need to be less accessible, Get grounded in God, I'm not talking about putting your feet in dirt or anything like that. I used to do that, and God, please forgive me, because I was like, I need some, like, I don't know what this is, but you need to get closer to God. Have a relationship, and once you have a relationship, you're able to deal with this stuff. Like I said, everybody wants to be connected. Stay connected. No, it's time to disconnect. We were still connected. We were more connected when we were disconnected than we were. And so, yeah, so that's the first thing. I do not watch the news. Don't watch it. Don't watch it. Do not watch it. I used to read the newspapers until I started noticing, I want to say about 7 years ago. I told you about my instance when I worked for NPR. Mind you, I only worked for NPR a couple of days, but you learn a lot, okay? You learn a lot. Okay, so with those, even the journals and stuff, they're usually connected to the same process, to the same people who own the media stations. Even some of the smaller ones that you don't even understand or know, or the ones that you see, they're so small. They're actually subsidiaries of these other places, or they're affiliates. They have to, meaning that if you're affiliate of something, you have to go by those guidelines. So the things that you want to hear, or that's really important, that's not in the media, you're not going to see with those small affiliates. I don't even care how small they look. People like attract small business and go to small newspapers. Nope. Yeah. Not only that, I got out of that area. I got out of that. Just stay out of that, the media. Limit what you watch on television, because, a lot of people understand that they're not being current, and you should be kind of current. Like, I want to say, some people, I used to say once a month, but like I said, it's the same thing over and over and over again. And because we live in a system and a people who are used to habit and they do the same things, you're going to hear the news, part of the news, because people are going to talk about it, because there's so many people that are just sitting in front of their TVs like this. Oh, what? And yeah, and they're really believing that what they're saying is absolutely true. And then they find out, and they're feeling horrified and mortified years later, or even days later, that what was said on the news that used to be so-called trustworthy, because to people of color, period, it was never trustworthy, or people who didn't have money was never trustworthy, because they always put stories on us that either were not true or were half true. You know, that's why a lot of people have stereotypical types of African Americans and people of color and Cubans and, you know, and Jewish people, like, and homosexual people and gay people. This is why, because we have this. But yeah, so that's what I do. The next thing I do is get in my community. You know, you'll start seeing the things, and you start seeing, like, okay, this couldn't happen to me. Some of the same things that people talk about in the media is happening right around in your area, but we got so seclusive that we don't go out into the public. We're so in tune to stay connected. We want to do electronic things that we don't get out and see our everyday man and see that there's people struggling right here. You can do your part. You don't have to go 12,000 milliliters. See, I don't understand how people can go overseas anywhere in another country. You live in one country, people are suffering, and you never took the time to go and help your neighbor, but you're going across the world to go help another neighbor and not even look at the neighbor that's right next door to you, or the person right next that needs the helping hand. No. And it needs less work and takes less energy and work for you to go help them. And they're willing to. Now, it's one thing if you can't get. Now, I've had an opportunity or places where I could not help my fellow man, and they were next to me, and I had the skills and the talents, and God even sent me to them and all that, and they were either I was blockaded by other people or the person themselves because they were dealing with them, you know, selves. And then that's your time to release, and then keep going and go where you're supposed to be, you know, kick the dust off your feet, keep going. But if you haven't even tried that, then no, okay. Get in there. It's going to show you a lot of things. It's going to open your eyes to say the world doesn't, for one, revolve around you. And just because your viewpoint of where something else is, or how somebody's lifestyle is, or where a location is, it's going to open you up to see different views. Because just like when I lived in Fort Wayne, I did not like Fort Wayne. There's certain parts I still don't like, certain aspects that I still don't like. I like it because there's still opportunities, but how the process goes about opportunity, you have to be. It's really weird. But and being a person of color and being a Latina, it's crazy. It's crazy. Being a black, it's crazy. It's crazy, y'all. Not only that, but I know there are some people who love Fort Wayne, and when I say they love it, they love it. They can't go anywhere else. Like, they live, breathe Fort Wayne. You know, and so when you get out, you're going to see those perspectives. There's going to be people who just hate you. There's going to be people that, you know, kind of like it, kind of don't like. You know, you're going to see different perspectives. So get out. Understand, you're going to see something that's bigger than you, and bigger than that little thing on a TV box that's telling you war is coming, you know, and putting out this fear. Be aware, and don't trust Chinese people, and don't trust Russian people. They're all thieves, and don't trust Nigerians. No. I refuse to live my life like that, and you should refuse to live your life like that. Whether you Catholic, Buddhist, I don't give a care. Whether you believe in God, whether you don't believe it, you should not be living in fear over a freaking television box. So, yeah, remember that. You know who, especially if you're a believer, you know who is in control. Don't give anyone else your power. Thanks. Hopefully something that's settled down will help you on your journey. Please stay tuned to Journey to Jerusalem. I don't know what the heck is this in my head, but whatever.